Hello designers, please if you have not watched the previous video where I gave the analysis of this gown, we analyzed the gown and we made our curtains, please do wait to check it out. I will be leaving a link to that in the description box as well as in the comment section. Do wait to check that out. Let's go back to the sewing. So this is our upper bodice, the back as well as the front. The front is at the lower part. So we added we used 3 inches for our bottom loop. Yeah, added an extra 3 inches while cutting it out. And I'm going to give a notch to find the center front, like where the center front started. Then I'm going to be adding an extra 1 inches to that for our bottom holder. This is just to be certain of what I'm working with to get. So to that I'm going to mark 1 inch so that this is I want my button placement like that overlapping to be on 1 inch, exactly 1 inch, you get. So I try to mark it out and then I'm going to be folding in my the rest of it and make sure it's 1 inch. So you can fold it this way or you can fold it this other way. You can fold it like this and give it a good press, making sure that it's 1 inch if you want to use 1 inch for yours too. I can do it like this. I pinch that 1 inch and I'm going to make sure that it's straight all the way to the hem. So I try to mark also 1 inch at the middle area, like you mark 1 inch, you are left with 2 inches you get. So I try to extend that marking to the middle region, and with my iron I'm going to be folding in to have my button loop. Hope you're understanding. So I went ahead to shock the wrong side, just create a marking at the wrong side of the fabric, and using the guide, using the first one I ironed out as a guide, I went ahead to pinch this one and also give it a good press and to make sure that equal. So make sure that your lines are straight, like when you after pressing it is straight as I'm doing mine. So later sun this out and found out that this middle is not straight enough, so I went ahead to arrange my fabric very well and I gave it a good press. After pressing this, I'm going to go ahead to fold in the edge of the fabric as shown. So I'm going to fold it in and press it down as well. And this will be our button holder and our button hole placement as well. You get. So this is it. After which I'm going to go back to my sewing machine to give it a straight stitch. So this is what I have after I'm done sewing it down. I sewed the two front piece, make sure that your stitch is straight, and then I went over to join it at the shoulder region as well. So this is it. So here I'm going to be measuring at what I have for my collar placement. I'm going to cut down my collar next. So I went ahead to measure what I have from the front all the way to the back and then to the other side as well. So I measured out what I have for my round neck. So I showed you how to cut the collar in the previous video, Please also do wait to check it out. So this is all about the sewing tutorial. We're joining the pieces together. This is for my round neck. For my round neck, this is what I have. And with this measurement, I was able to cut out my collar. So that is it. So this is my collar here. This is what I have for my collar. And I attached the is this thing, a medium paper stay to it. I don't want it to be too thick. You can use a collar gum if you want. So I went ahead to sew the edges, like I just sewed in the edges by half of an inch, and I went ahead to cut out any excess at that area. So I showed you how to cut this collar in the previous video. So this is an easier way of for creating your collar. This everything, I cut everything together, the collar stand and the overlapping, like the folding part. I cut them together. So it's not like you sew your stand and then you sew back your collar. I can also do that too. But this one is a more faster way of creating your collar, and it still comes out perfect. So after sewing cutting out the excesses, I went ahead to give it a notch all round. So you can give it a notch, especially at this area. Give it a notch, cut out the excesses there, and then I'm going to be flipping it over to the right side. So make sure you create your notch, especially at the area that divided the collar stand from the overlapping. That's that L shaped area. So notch it very well, and then we're going to be turning it over to the right side. And after which you're going to give it a good press. Please do wait to subscribe to this channel if you have not. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell. I upload video every week. So we have more amazing content coming your way. Join the family. Also drop your questions in the comment section. I'll just attend to any question you have. I always reply my comments. So let me know your questions in the comment section. Okay, so this is what we have. So at the tip, make sure you are pushing out the edge, like what you have at that tip. You can put it out with the scissors as I'm doing, or you can use something that has a little bit of a pointy edge to push it out. So this is what I have after turning it. I'll see how beautiful it's looking already. So I'm going to push out this area as well, after which you're going to be ironing it down. Hope you're following. Please drop your question if you have any. You see how nice the color is looking after I press it down. I tell you, once you learn this method, there's no going back. Like, it's a go-to something. So here I'm trying to find the middle point of my collar, because I need to place it, so it's down to my upper shirt to get. This is the middle point, and to that I'm going to be giving it a notch. So this is it. So then I'm going to be bringing in my upper bodice. So this I'm going to be placing it right side facing each other, and I'm going to be using my pin. I'm going to be pinning it down. So that is the middle point that will give you a notch, right? So the middle point of the collar goes to the middle point of the back piece, as you can see. So I went ahead to pin it down. So you can go ahead to pin them all round, like pin it from the center back all the way to the front, and do it and repeat it to the other side as well. So I'm going to putting the whole piece down from the center back, I mean to say from the center back to the right, of the center front, and from the center back to the left of the center front. So I'm going to be pinning them all the way down before sewing it down. This make it easy. I'll drop you a video on how to achieve a perfect fit. Please do check it out. Today I talked about working with pins, and this is me working with my pins. Working with your pin makes you a pro and not a novice. So let's endeavor to always work with our pins. And sure to check out details of that video. I think I may leave the links to the description box as well, so you can check it out. Let's support one another and learn as fashion designers. So this is what I have after I'm done sewing it down. So now I'm going to be covering it up. So with my pin again, I'm going to be folding this inward. This is the wrong side. This is the inside part of the upper bodice again. So with my pin, I'm going to be make sure that it's straight, and I'm going to be folding in the rough edge and pinning it down. After pinning down, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine again, and I'm going to give it a straight stitch. So I'm going to sew it down at that area, and then I'm going to sew a straight stitch at this part too to divide the collar stand from the flap. So I'm going to sew it down, and then I'm going to sew around the edge and also at the middle. Get so this is our bishop sleeve. We also did this cut in the previous video. So I'm going to go over to attachments to sew this to my sleeve or to my armhole, because I'm going to be sewing this to my armhole. The only difference there from the thumbnail, you're going to see that it gave a pleat at the middle point of that sleeve. This is what you're seeing here. So I did that pleat at the shoulder region. So it's just a three pleats that I did here. So I attached the two sleeves to that, and this is it. Our top is coming together. So I'm going to be pinning the center front all the way to the hem, so to put it in place before I can sew the lower piece to it to get. So I'm going to pin this down. When the dress is ready, we're going to be placing our buttons. So just to get it in place, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to flipping this over to the wrong side, just to make an adjust, like to the back side I mean to say. I'm going to make an adjustment to the length. You know, the front and the back piece, I cut it at the same length to get. So because the back is not always equal with the front, and I felt like there's going to be a ball. You know, the back half length and the front half length are not always the same. So after placing the center back together, like getting the center back, I had to mark out. I marked out 1 inch at the center back, and I'm going to be connecting it slightly to the tip, and then I'm going to be cutting it out. So I feel there's going to be a bulge if I leave it that way after sewing it. No, it's not just a shirt, it's a shirt dress. You get, there's a dress to it. So I'm going to join the lower piece to it later on. So this is what I did to take out any bulge or uncertainty to that region. It can do the same to yours as well. Also, taking this out is going to help the buttock to sit very well properly. You get, you know, this is a dress. So cutting this 1 inch is going to give it a little bit lift at the center back, making the buttock to be relaxed. Especially when you go over with the belt. You get, so I felt this is necessary, and it is really necessary. So you can also do that, and then you're going to going over to sewing the lower piece fabric. I'm going to attach the lower piece to it, like the at the half length. I'm going to sew it down by half of an inch. So this is the back piece, and this is the lower piece for the back. We will label it while cutting it out. So I'm going to make sure that the center fronts are equal, that the centers are equal. I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. So this is the front and the back. I repeated the same thing for the front as well. So I sewed it in by half of an inch. Remember, we are going to be attaching an invisible zipper to this by the side. Okay, so you know, though this is a shirt dress, because the upper side has a button to be easier to wear at this upper side, but for the waist and the hip, to make it easier for the waist and the hip to be able to pass to enter the dress easily. I'm going to be sewing a invisible zipper to the side of this dress, and it's going to run down to the waist, you get. So after sewing this, I later realized that I need to add the first layer to the lower part, like the, it's a three tiered or layered design gown. I need to add the first layer before sewing, attaching the upper part and the lower part together at the waist. So after losing out the waist area, and I'm going to be seeing that. So I'm losing it out. But here I've already hemmed the dress and I've done my weaving. As you can see, it's all weaved and looking neat now. So I weaved out my rough edges and I stood it by the side. So I'm just going to loosen out the waist area. But for this side, one side I sewed, it's going to remain that way. So to be clear, I'm going to be joining one side together, like I'm going to loosen out the waist. For the lower part, I'm going to be sewing it at one side, then I'll can open it very well to be able to sew my pair. After sewing the layers, I'm now going to join the other side of the skirt. I hope you understanding me. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. So you see, this is the front and the back. This is the front and this is the back. I join it at the side, at one side, you get. So this is when I've loosened out the upper part from it, because I want to do my layers. Because for that waist area, I need the first tier to be inside, the rough edge to be inside. That's why I loosened it out, and I'm going to be creating my marking. I was to talk earlier. I want my marking, like I want after sewing it, it's going to be 7 inches, but because of these half inches at the waist, I marked 7.5 inches, as you can see. So to this 7.5 inches, I want the lower part to be inside the upper part, like the second layer. The sewing, the joinment of the upper layer to be inside the first layer by 1 inch, you get. So that means the upper layer is going to be laying on top of the second layer by 1 inch extra. Hope you're understanding me. So when I took out the 1 inch, I found out it's going to be 6.5 inches. So I went ahead to mark out, to rule out my 6.5 inches all the way to the other side. And this time is the one I'm going to be sewing my second tier on, because the first tier is on the waist region already. So it's going to be on the waist. That's the starting point of the lower part, which is the skirt area. Hope you're understanding me. So this is me marking out 6.5 inches. I'm going to mark it all the way to the end, and then we are going to create another line for the placement of our third tier or third layer. So to recap, I want the skirt, the lower part, to be a length of 21 inches, you get. So we are going to create a three pleats, and to create this three layer, you're going to divide that 21 inches and working with by 3, which is 7 inches, you get. So this is my 7 inches that I'm marking out. The first one is 7.5 inches because of the half inch at the waist area for joining to the upper part, and then for the lower part I marked out 7 inches. This is where it's going to, the second layer is going to end, and then from this 7 inches all the way down, that is where the third layer is going to be running down to get. So I want the skirt to be inside. When we are cutting it, we took out some inches from the lower part so that the layered dress, like the third layer, is going to complete the full length of the dress. I hope you're getting me. So now I will want each layer to be covering the other one. You don't want the rough edge to be showing. You want it to be 1 inch overlapping. The first layer goes 1 inch overlapping to the second layer, and that's runs all the way. So I'm going to be measuring it. So from here to the lower part, this is my 7 inches. That means the third tier is going to be completing the dress by an extra 1 inch, and this skirt is going to be inward. It's not going to be showing that there's a skirt inside, and that's where I'm going to be sewing my ear, you get. So to this I'm going to be measuring it out, and I'm going to be creating my line. Hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Please see if you don't, you can leave your question or you can rewatch the video to get my points. You get. So I'm going to be marking my lines all the way to the end as well. Remember, we only sewed one side of the skirt. Like we have joined the center, the front piece of the raw part or skirt to the back piece. You sew this at one side and one side is open. That's why it's laying flat like this. So you're going to mark, create our marking all the way to the end, and this is where you're going to be sewing our third tier. Hope you're understanding me. And also, when we analyze the design, I made us to understand that the second tier and the third tier, or the second layered design and the third layer design, is the same. You get. You can analyze yours as well. That's what I can notice from the design. And the first layer is different, like their pleats are different, but the second layered pleats and the third layered pleats are the same. So I'm going to be showing you how to create that pleat as well, based on what I understood from the clothes. You can also analyze yours. So I created my marking all the way to the end, and this is it. So this is a piece of fabric I'm going to be using to create my design, and I've weaved the rough edge as you can see, and this is 9 inch. So I'm going to be going over to my sewing machine. I'm going to be folding the edge, the two edges. Like I'm going to fold one edge by half of an inch, and then to the other side when I'm sewing it, I'm going to sew it by half of an inch. So that will be a total of 8 inches when I'm done sewing them. You get. I'll just hem one side, and the other side I'm going to be when I'm creating my design, I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So here I later found out that I didn't take out, before drawing my markings on the third tier, I didn't take out the 1 inch for the overlapping. You get, because the second is meant to overlap the third by 1 inch. I didn't take out the 1 inch. So now I'm going to be recreating my markings. You get, I'm going to redraw my line. I'm going to taking out 1 inch from that, and I'm going to be marking it all the way through. So at the end it's giving 6.5 inches. So I'm going to be marking my marking by 6.5 inches all the way to the other side. That's taking 1 inch from the initial line that we drew. Should be for the overlapping. Hope you're understanding. So this is what I have after creating the third tier. So I'm going to show you how I was able to form this design, because the third tier and the second tier or layer is the same. You get. So I'm going to show you how I did my creation. So this is it. I'm going to go out to the machine and to show you as well. So you just click like this, leave a space, pleat, like you're doing a kissing print that has space. To get. That's what I understood from my, when I saw from the design. You can do your own analysis as I stated earlier. This is what I was able to understand. So I did the pleats. I'm going to be creating the pleats again for the second tier. But first of all, I'm going to go over and hem one side of my gown, of this piece I'm going to be using. Remember, I'm I have it at 9 inch. I'm also going to be what, 8 inches. So let's head over to sewing machine. As you can see, I've weaved one side of the piece, and to the other side, that's what I'm going to be sewing it down with. So remember, you're going to be following the lines that we drew on the material you get, and they're sewing it by half of an inch. So I like leaving an extra material at the end just to play safe. And also I don't want after sewing the zipper it's going to be looking too straight. So I'm going to still use that small excess I left there to create a little bit of lifting before sewing my zipper so that it will not be looking like there's a zipper in between the side by the side. The full neck is still going to be there. Hope you understand what I'm saying. So first of all, I'm going to do my top stitch and then I'm going to start creating my designs. So I have to pleat. I'm not like doing a deep pleat. Like the folding inside is not meant to be too much because from the design you find that the pleating was not deep, like as I noticed, like you're not giving me, you're not folding too much fabric inside. I'm just folding the right amount. Like when you iron it, it's going to be lifting. It's not going to be like flat, like how pleat design used to be, like as flat as pleat designs. So oh yeah, laying inside is not meant to be too much, just enough you get. And then when you pleat back and then you're going to leave a space in between and pleat. So it's not like you're doing a kissing print, but the kissing print is not really kissing, like they're not kissing. Yeah, that's what I understood because if you look at the design, you find that there is space in between like the pleats, and this is what I was able to come up with, and that's it. So you're going to pleat and then you pleat back, you leave some space. Depending on how full you want, you can make it to be a little space in between, or you can make the spaces to be much if you want it not to be too full. Because from design, I found out that the second tier and the third tier they're not too full, but the first tier was a little bit more fuller. And for me, I wanted my first layer to be very full, and I did that to the first layer, which is going you're going to be seeing in a jiffy. So you're going to contemplate me this way all the way to the end. So here I joined a piece of material to this. I'm going to try and fold it inward very well, such a way that it will never show. Like no matter how the person walks or sits down, like it's not going to show. I'm going to make sure I hide it very well. So you can also do the same. Make sure you hide your joining so there's not be showing. Let's see if the joining is by the side. So I don't want my joinings to be showing. That's why I'm trying to fold it inward as neatly as possible. And then we'll continue with our design. You can see the front is not showing. So I'm going to be joining another piece of fabric here. I'm going to be continuing with my sewing all the way to the at the end. Okay, now over to the first layer, the first layer. As I said, the design for the first layer is different. And for the first layer, I noticed that it was split. They gave a pleat, but because you have to use the material to be able to achieve that standing effect, the material have to be strong. I think I said that in the first video. It's not like a very light material, too hard material, like of a good texture. And then we are going to start off by giving our top stitch, and then I'm going to start creating my pleats. So the pleat is not meant to be too deep, like the inside is not meant to be too deep. You can make your scant, like you can just create pleats and just create it at intervals or how full you want it to be. But for me, I'm going for a very fuller waist. I want mine to be fuller. So I'm creating my pleats at all intervals. Like I'm not giving space, I'm not giving intervals for it. I'm just going to create my pleats all the way to the end. And this is it. So just going to be pleating it and all the way down. It's not like you're kissing printing, say one way plate. But this one, the plates are all facing one side. It's not a kissing print, just as we did for when we started. So this is me creating my plate. As I said earlier, I want it to be more fuller. So I'm going to be creating this all the way to the end. You can see the effect I'm going with. Mine is a fuller effect. So all stands. Remember, another three keys that when you are ironing it, after sewing it, make sure you're not ironing it down to make the pleat to be laying down flat. Like just iron out the this thing, the folds at the material you get. Just iron out the rumples in the material and just leave it. It's going to give that fullness because you don't want from design the pleats it was not like folded like a pleated design skirt. How you make a pleated design skirt and you iron down the pleats very very well. So that's not the effect you're going with. So just going to iron out any rumples on the material and let the material do its work. That's why you need to get the proper material for this design for it to be able to turn out the exact way it is on our thumbnail you get. So I'm going to continue my pleating because I'm going with a fuller pleat. I want it to be fuller, like stand up very well, like very very full. And then I'm going to continue this pleat all the way to the end. Please, if you have watched up to this point, do what to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join the family, and also share with others. You can turn the notification bell on and set it to all in order to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So after I'm done, I went ahead to attach the lower part to it, like the upper part to the lower part. And I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. So I'll be pinning it down all the way to the side. As you can see, there's also side front, but this is also sewn. I sewed one side of this of the upper front. So I'm going to be sewing it down at the end
we have one side left open, which is going to be, we're going to be attaching our zipper. So this is what I have after sewing it down. This is the side I'm going to be attaching our zipper to. So I'm going to align the center front, the front to be together, like the join on the waist to be together. I'm also going to align the armhole area as well to make sure that they're equal. And then with my pin, I'm going to be pinning it down, and then that is it. So I'm going to be running a stitch all the way, and I'll stop immediately after the armhole. That's that point, and then I'm going to leave a space too all the way below the waist area, and I'm going to be sewing down the remaining parts. So I'm going to cut down the excess fabric I have by this side. I'm going to leave out a little. I'm going to push it inwards a little so that after sewing it the side, like the pleat is going to cover up that side as well. Okay. So just for a tip for joining these pieces, make sure that when you are joining that the first layer, that the end of the first layers and the lengths are equal. So you can just use a pin and join the first layer and just pin it down before sewing it down. You get, pin the end of the first layer together, the length, the second layer and the third layer, before you run it down with a stitch, so that not after sewing to be like one is up and one is down. You get. And then I've gone ahead to attach my elastic at the sleeve area, and also zipper, my invisible zipper at the side. I have a video on this channel on how to attach an invisible zipper, so do well to check it out. That's the same method I use in sewing down my invisible zipper. And then I'm just going to go back to my iron tape. I'm going to iron it down, and this is it. And this is for the bottom part. This is my button. I did a cover button for it. In the thumbnail, found out that's the cover button that they use, and I'm going to be attaching my cover buttons to it. And then our beautiful gown is ready. Please do wait to subscribe if you haven't. I love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye.